In 2012, Alton Towers would open an attraction that cost them £4 million. Just 4 seasons later, the park would close the attraction down and leave it abandoned. This is the forgotten history of Nemesis Sub-Terra. In 1994, Alton Towers would open a B&M inverting coaster called Nemesis. The backstory to the ride is that Nemesis comes from another dimension. Beneath the ground at Alton Towers, an unknown life form lived, a creature that existed for over 2 million years. During construction in the Forbidden Valley area of Alton Towers, the creature was disturbed, causing chaos around the area. It was concluded that something needed to be installed to hold down the creature. This would be 716 meters of twisted metal that would be Nemesis.
Down into a tunnel? Wow! You really think your feet are going to crack against the rock? Now into another barrel roll?
So with that said, let's take a look at the downfall of Nemesis Sub-Terra. Plans were submitted for the ride/attraction in August 2011, which showed the exterior and overall look of the building that would house this experience. A few months prior to opening, pictures were released of the ride hardware showing that it was a drop tower ride manufactured by the Switzerland company ABC Rides, similar to the drop towers seen in the Blackpool and London dungeons. A short teaser video was released, giving away some of the theme. On New Year's Eve 2011, the name was released. It was announced that the ride would be called Nemesis Sub-Terra and would continue the storyline of Nemesis. Alton Towers would continue to hype the attraction up, and the ride would even get a 12A classification.
So they came and they visited and they gave it a 12A classification. So on the back of that, we've actually given it a 1.4 metre height restriction.
Looks like the park didn't learn from their mistakes with 13.
Well, that ride was a bit timid. At least it's time now to get off. Apparently, little jolt there. Okay, let's get up. Ah! Oh! Oh! Ah!
Yep, that ride required you to sign a waiver. Anyway, moving on to the ride experience. Before entering the building, the Fanax operatives, dressed in all black military style outfits and kitted with walkie-talkies, reflective sunglasses and black caps, shouted orders, gave one-liners and intimidated guests. In batches of 40, these Fanax operatives would usher people into the batching area, with 2 lifts at the back wall. To some, the storyline was unclear, as the waiting area with the operatives didn't give much away. After the pre-show, riders were split into 2 lifts, which gave the illusion, using lighting and vibrations, that riders were travelling down into a recently excavated site. When the doors opened, you moved into the main chamber, which showed an egg in the centre, with lasers shooting at it in full sci-fi fashion and a bunch of screens monitoring the egg, its temperature and signs of life. The operatives ushered people around and ordered them to sit in one of the 4 rows of seats that ran along each wall, facing the middle of the room, and pull down the lap bar. All attention was on the egg, and the dark room helped to bring that focus to the centrepiece of the room. Once everyone was sat in one of the 4 drop tower rows and the restraints lowered in place, videos would play talking about the discovery of the egg and how it had been showing signs of life. However, before the video can finish, a power cut happened. Sirens would play to show something wasn't quite right. All of the lights suddenly went out for a few seconds, then turned back on, and effects were used to show that a creature was moving around in the chamber. Suddenly you would fall 20 feet to the bottom of the chamber. Water sprays were used, and a mixture of lighting, sound effects, leg ticklers and other effects were all used. However, upon opening, a lot of the effects didn't work. After ascending back up to the main room to reveal that the egg had been cracked and opened, sirens would sound and Fanax operatives ushered everyone out and back to the lifts to safety. Or that's what everyone thought. Inside the lift, the lights flickered, then shut off. The lift began to shake and loud bangs could be heard coming from the outside of the lift. The lights come on again to reveal a panel on the roof of the lift had become dislodged, and the wall panels moving, all showing the monster was trying to get in. And that was about it. You'd then exit the buildings back into the Forbidden Valley area. The ride opened to very negative reviews, with enthusiasts praising the theming but despising the actual ride itself. However, Alton Towers made many modifications to enhance the experience later on. For example, TV screens were added to the batching area to inform guests of the backstory behind Nemesis, and instead of the ride dropping then coming back up to reveal the cracked egg, the room would go dark, then reveal the cracked egg, and then the ride would drop. For 6 days in late May, the ride was closed and being worked on. Another shipping container was added to house a mini scare maze section, where operators would chase you out. With strobe lighting and chained fences, it made for an alright scare maze section. Once that was complete, you would come to the exit of the ride and back into usual daylight.
The crash happened at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but paramedics were still treating the seriously injured on the scene 5 hours later.
In 2015, the tragic Smiler accident occurred, with Alton Towers announcing that 6 attractions would not reopen the following season, including Nemesis Sub-Terra. After only 4 seasons at the park, at the end of the 2015 season, the ride building sat abandoned, with the £4 million attraction left to rot. However, this would not be the end. In July 2018, a yellow gazebo had been erected just outside the ride's entrance. It was later announced that this was for a scare maze attraction for Scarefest 2018, named Project 42.
We can't let you see any of the patients we have here in quarantine. Not only are they highly contagious, they are also dangerously aggressive.
After the scare maze, the ride buildings remained abandoned, and nothing has happened with the buildings ever since. It is believed that 4 drop towers still remain in the building to this day, so it'll be interesting to see what the park do with this attraction. As of the 2022 season, a lot of work has been happening in the area, so I personally believe something is definitely happening, whether it's a new scare maze or the potential return of Nemesis Sub-Terra. We believe that Nemesis will be going through a retrack next season, so it'd be great to see Sub-Terra reimagined and opening in the 2023 season, as Nemesis is a huge ride to be down for one whole season, so Sub-Terra would be a brilliant attraction to spread people out a little bit more. I definitely believe something is going to happen with the ride. I can't see the park just leaving 4 drop towers in this building. Once again, Alton Towers had hyped up a ride which didn't meet the expectations of guests. While the ride had many people who enjoyed the experience, there were loads who didn't. I know many people who love Sub-Terra and would like to see it return. What did you think of Nemesis Sub-Terra? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, consider subscribing, as I make theme park content every week for you to enjoy. And with all that said and done, thank you for watching Theme Park Enthusiast, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.